Shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome once again to Shabbat Night Talk. My name is Chief Uzi Alawi, one of the teachers at congregation, D.C.B, CHOKMAH BINAH, and I thank the Creator of heaven and earth for this day. The Holy Shabbat day, and thanking the Most High God for being able to be here with you to share whatever it is that the Most High God has put in me to share with you today. I thank the Creator for all of your lives. I thank the Creator for food, clothing, and shelter, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and all the things that we do as servants of the Creator to edify God's people about who He truly is. I'd like to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone in the rooms, on Facebook Live, and also on YouTube. Thanking you all for joining us, for being here with us, and for enjoying this. As you know, the days are beginning to get longer, so I come on a little bit later because you eat naturally. You eat later. You do things like that later, and it's and that's what it is. So I thank the Creator once again for all of you. I hope that you, in the midst of everything that's happening, that you will remain blessed, that you will remain doing the things that you're supposed to do before the Creator, because it's getting tough out here. But when it's getting tough, we still have our job to do, and we still have to walk in the path of righteousness. So I thank this great King for my life, the life of all my loved ones, the life of Kobe Yisrael. I just thank the Creator for being there for us. In the midst of everything, tough times and everything, God is always there for us. So I thank Him for being there. I thank the Creator for being there. Sometimes people sometimes people take life for granted. They take things for granted, but never take for granted what the Most High God has given you. You can't take good people for granted. You can't take good friends for granted. Sometimes we think that friends are going to be the people that always agree with us, but a good friend is there when you need them, and a good friend doesn't always agree with you. In fact, a good friend is going to give you an opposing view on certain things. You might not like it, but that's what a good friend does. Good friend is going to give you an opposing opinion on certain things. And you might bump heads, you might not see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, that's a good friend. Shabbat Shalom, Yeshaya Ben Levi. Shabbat Shalom to everybody else in the rooms. So, and Wallace Jefferson, Chava, Sister Chava, Shabbat Shalom. To everyone in the room with us, Shabbat Shalom. So, sometimes your best friends don't always tell you what you want to hear. But or your good friends, but a good friend, when you're down and out, that's when they're there for you. When you're down and out. Sometimes you go through tumultuous things with good friends. You might not speak for a little while, but then after a while, you kind of pick it up and things get back and normalize. But good friends are rare and they're hard to find. Good friends are rare and they're hard to find. But when you find a good friend, thank God for that, because they said there's a friend that's closer than a brother. And then there's another thing that you have to be careful with, that sometimes we're there's a thing to be kind-hearted and to be good and to be nice, and those things are great, but you also have to know who you do good for. It says, I believe somewhere in the Proverbs, and I'm paraphrasing, it speaks of something like a wise person who commits sin is like putting a gold ring in a swine's snout, right? Just doesn't go. So those are the things that we have to be careful about. We have to be careful about who we do good to. You just don't want to do good to anybody. If you will join me, I just want to go to the book of Ben Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 12. I want to go to chapter 12 right now. You got to know who you do good to. Give me 1 second here. My tablet is moving kind of slow, so please just excuse me. Starting from verse 1. I was reading this week, and I found it to be very interesting. It says, Shabbat Shalom to everyone else in the room that's new. I'm going to just kind of go through this tonight because I have to teach tomorrow morning. I'm replacing my brother Mekubadia, who's not feeling too good. So I'm filling in for him tomorrow. But Ben Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 in the Apocrypha, is either called Ben Sirach, it's called the Book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus. You can find it online. Shabbat Shalom, Yemima. Good to see you on the stream. So chapter 12 goes, when thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest good, so shall thou be thanked for thy benefits. So when you do good to people, know who you do good to, because you could, you do good for people, and then you realize that people don't do good to you in return. Now that's an uneven yoke. When people do good for you, you have to reciprocate that good. So if you get a friend that just constantly, they only time they call you is when they need something, when they want something, when they in trouble, that usually is not a good friend. It could be a friend, but it's not a good friend. When someone does good by you, it's only right to do good by them. Sometimes the problem is that, as I spoke about a few weeks back, that narcissism and the I syndrome do not allow people to be to return favors or to do good by people. So those things right there are things that we have to work out within ourselves. If you have a friend that's always there for you, that's looking out for you, that's helping you out, Shabbat Shalom, everyone, that's looking out for you, that's helping you out in all of your endeavors and doing things. It's nice to return that favor. It's nice, and it's the right thing to do. So you got to know who you do good for, because even family members, you do good for them and you feel obligated to do good for them because they're family, but sometimes they're not even worth a hill of beans, family members. So you have to be careful who you do good for. Example, You get a cousin, a sister, a brother. Oh man, I want to get this car. Now they don't have a history of consistency. They don't have a history of working consistently and keeping jobs and things like that. But they want to get a 2018 Mercedes Benz, and they credit is in the dumps, but they come to you because they know you got A1 credit, and they figure that they could play on the love of being a brother or being a sister, and you go out there and you co-sign for a vehicle when you know that this person is not responsible. So now, whose fault is it? It's not the person that's not responsible. It's your fault because you knew better. Because you had to, regardless of whether that's your blood, you come from the same mother and father, you still have to know who you do good to, whether it's your brother or it's your sister that came out the same womb. This is what it's telling you right here. Know who you do good to, because people will burn you in the long run. And you put out yourself and you're doing things for them and they just using you. And that's, don't be surprised. Just deal with people accordingly. Deal with people accordingly to what they show you. You understand what I'm saying? You get if you are a spouse, you are a husband and a wife, and the relationship is just being one way, where one person is just doing everything and the other person is something wrong there. It's an uneven yoke. It's an uneven scale. So those are the things that we have to look out for, and the things that we have to be aware of. We have to be able to, when people do good to us, be able to reciprocate that good and be able to thank people for doing good for us. And good begets good. That's just what it is. That's right. If people show you who they are, believe them. Don't trick yourself into thinking they somebody else. It says here, so shall thou be thankful for thy benefits, right? So it's good to tell people, thank you when they do something good for you, and vice versa. Do good to the goodly man, do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. So do good to the godly man, right? Do good to that brother, to that sister, because at the end you're gonna find a reward, right? Because a godly person, see, the thing about a godly person is when they borrow, when they ask you to do certain things, right? A godly person will go out of their way to try to repay or to try to make it right by that brother or that sister. These are attributes of godly people. That's what they do. They try not to stay owing anyone. They try to, pay back and do things like that. That's godliness, because you understand that when you borrow, you have to pay back. So, the godly person is always going to be aware that I owe, I have to get back, I have to look out, I have to do certain things. It says here, and if not from him, yet from the Most High. It's saying basically that if you don't get a reward, if you don't get it back from the godly person, because they might have honestly felt on hard times, then you will get the reward back from the Most High God. So those are things that, that we keep in mind and that we think about. It says here, all right, this tablet is acting up a little. Give me a second. Tablet is so old that it's just freezing on me. I should have opened this up on the computer. I did this to myself. Let's see. Hopefully it opens up. Here it goes. All right, here we go. Verse 3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. So no good could come to you if you are occupied in evil, meaning that evil is what consumes you, your activities, the things that you do, your speech. You're always talking about people, putting down people, tearing people down. You can't find a comfort in your own life and in your own self, right? There can no good come to you because you're always pointing the finger, you're cursing, and you're talking about people. You never see good in people. There can no good be returned to you. No, to him that giveth no alms. Now, a person that gives no alms is basically a person that gives no charity. If you find yourself that you're always out there, somebody come and ask you for $1, for a quarter, something like that, and you can't do charity for the poor, and you can't do anything like that, then what the writing is basically telling you is that there can no good come to you because you're not used to doing goodness for people. So in order to get goodness, you have to be able to dish it out, and to give it out. Goodness for goodness. And that's just how it is. It goes here and it says, give me 1 second here to see what is going on here. Give me 1 second, people. Just got to check my people on YouTube. I haven't checked them since I started the stream. I don't want them to feel neglected. All right, Shabbat Shalom to everybody on YouTube. So it says here, verse 4, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. Say, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. Do you understand that a sinner could be right? Like I said earlier, it could be your own brother and your sister. And the godly person could be somebody that's not even your blood. Having you experience that in life sometimes, that you become good friends with someone and they're not even your own blood, and you could trust them more than your own brother and sister. Say, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. Don't look out for those sinners. It says here, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him. So there it goes back to the point that I spoke about initially. Know who you do good to, right? It says, do well unto him that is lowly, meaning the people that are downtrodden, the people that need help, the poor and the needy. Do well by them, but give not to the ungodly. If you know a person is ungodly, you're not supposed to be aiding and abetting them and getting them better, because it might come a time that with your aiding, they become stronger than you, and the wickedness that they do, or the ungodliness that they do, it manifests upon you. So you don't want to lift up ungodliness, and then at the end that ungodliness comes back and bites you. You don't want to do that. It says here, for the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. So we know that God hates sinners, right? And he will repay vengeance unto the ungodly. The ungodly people are people who basically reject the laws of God. No matter how nice they are, no matter how nice they appear to be, and they think they live in the best life, and they're found inner peace in themselves and all that. You break the laws of God, you ungodly. Straight up, that's what it is. I mean, you got people that come to services every week, keep all the holy days, and they also could be found ungodly because of some of the acts that they commit. But if you straight up, blatantly, you know better and you breaking the laws of God, you're ungodly. and you have to pay for that. You know, the Most High God will repay you to your face for your ungodliness. It says here, one second. Verse 7, give unto the good and help not the sinner. Once again, it reiterates it. Give unto the good and not unto sinners. You don't want to build sinners, right? Because sinners are, after a while, they become a detriment unto you. So you don't want to build sinners. A friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. So you know what that means? When you have a lot of money, it's like I always hear when Mike Tyson speaks about it. He said the worst thing that he could do was when, he said he's at peace now that he has no money. Because when he had money, everybody was just hanging around him because he had money. So you can't tell a friend when you got all this money. Why? Because everybody gonna be attached to you. People that love you, people that hate you, people that are indifferent, people hanging around in your circle, and you don't even know that they digging they putting the spear in your back. So those are things that when you have wealth, you can't tell who your real friends are. You got this wealth. They know you got wealth. Everybody wants to be your friend. Why? Because they want the windfall from the wealth that you have accumulated. They want that. They want you to pass them something. So you will never be able to tell a friend in that situation. When you tell a friend, when you down and out, when you locked up and nobody else is there for you, and that brother or that sister come get you, bail you out. That's a friend. You didn't expect it. So nah, man, that's my buddy. I'm gonna go get him out. I'm gonna go get my sister out that bond. That's a friend. Then you get to know who your real friends are. It says here, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. So, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. So when you're going through adverse times, you're gonna know your enemies. You be like, hey man, I'm going through some rough times right now. Can you help me out? Man, I don't got no money. You always do blah, 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 blah. But when you had it, you was looking out for that person. But now that you down and out, that person can't look out for you. So those are the things that you have to look for, and we have to be aware of. Know who you do good to. You got to test people. You got to see people. You got to see how people are. You know what I mean? When people borrow from you, when they up, try asking them for, hey, can I borrow? Can you lend me $75? You lend me $100, $200? See what they say. And you know that they up. See what they say. Some people just break it off and look out for you. And everything is not a monetary value. I'm just using that as an example, but there's much more to friendship than just monetary value, So those are the things that we have to be aware of. For everyone that's on YouTube, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Put the thumbs up on the video. Don't forget, everyone on both stream that I have going, don't forget to share on your timelines, on your social media, on all your stuff. Bavakusha. Bavakusha means please. Verse 9. It says, in the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved. In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart. So it's saying that, you know, what is basically saying that you see your true friends in a time of adversity. In the time of adversity is when you see your true friends, you down and out. You know, I've had friends that were on drugs, all sorts of stuff. I didn't abandon them because I felt like they were my friends, you know, and got to see them through tough time when everybody else got, you know, basically seemed like they turned their backs on them. But they hear as a testament, you know, I try to be a true friend, but sometimes, you know, there's certain friendships that just sometimes have to end or sometimes have to be on timeout so that people understand that they can't take your kindness for weakness. So there's certain levels to this thing. You know, there's certain levels to this friendship and to how people will look at you and perceive you. You know, true friends. True friends will always be there, and you don't have to be guarded with them as when you're doing certain things and when you're putting forth an effort, because a true friend is going to always reciprocate the good, you know, no matter what. So we have to measure those things and we have to keep those things in mind. The difference between a good friend and a friend that's really not that good. You know what I'm saying? And we all need to be aware of that. You know, we all need to be aware of our habits, the things that we do. If we are abusive as friends, sometimes you might not be a bad person. Sometimes you're just not noticing the things that you're doing. And sometimes people have to pull your coat when it comes to that. And yours is not to get upset, but it's to acknowledge what the person is saying and therefore try to improve on it. You know, those are things that we have to be aware of. So those are things. But like I said, a true friend is not just measured by whether they could give you something, whether they, you know, sometimes you got a good friend that's poor. He will never be able to just, you know, lend you money because he's struggling from week to week, from day to day. So you get that. But whenever there's time, like if you move in or if you need, this is the friend that always seem to pop up and help you out or do certain things, and you could count on him or her on other levels. You understand what I'm saying? Because I just don't want to put friendship, you know, the value of friendship just on money. Give it a monetary value. It's not just about money. It's about truly how you get along with a person, how you build, how that person is there for you emotionally when you're going through certain things, the type of advice that they give you, the kind of inspiration. You know, friends could be inspirational too. So those are all the different attributes to a good friend, not just monetary. We get caught up with that, but it's not just monetary. You know, sometimes a good friend, things happen in the middle of the night, they come out and they be there for you. You know, they come and watch the kids and make sure your kids is all right. They that's the thing with friendship. That's how friendship goes. You know, friendship is not just one-sided. Two parties make a good friendship. It says here, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. That's right. Never trust the enemy. If you know you have an enemy, it said, because just as like iron rusteth, meaning it looks dirty, so it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't be blinded by whatever it is that they showing you, because they're dirty and they're your enemy. You know who your enemies are. It says here, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Meaning that he still got some of them dirty ways. He still despises you. Watch him. You know, don't take him in. Don't let him close to you. If you've been burned, how the saying go? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's shame on me, because I should have known better. So therefore, when it comes to the third time, it shouldn't even be a third time. You know, it shouldn't even be a third time, because you know better. You know people's personalities. You know how people are. Those are the things that we have to be aware of. And your true friends will always come to you first. They will always talk to you first. They won't let nothing come in between y'all. That's a true friend. You know. It says here, 12, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember that my words, and be pricked therewith. Yeah. Don't let them near you. That's basically what it's saying. Don't let your enemy near you. Your enemy's your enemy. Understand who your enemies are, and don't let them near you. That's basically what this is saying. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be hurt by them. It says here, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh a wild beast? Yeah, nobody pities a snake charmer when he's out there doing his act. Nobody, if he gets bitten, it's like, hey, it comes with the territory. Nobody told you to be out there trying to charm a snake. You should have done a better job of charming the snake. Nobody feels sorry for a bullfighter, a matador, right? When he's standing there with the red cape and he got the sword hitting behind him, and then when the bull come and he makes him miss and he sticks him with the sword. But then sometimes those bulls get smart and you think they coming straight and they make a little move to the left and boom, lift you up with the horn. Nobody feels sorry for the matador, because for all the hundreds and hundreds of bulls that have been killed, when a matador gets raked by a bull, it makes the crowd even go wilder, because you should have been, nobody told you to be in there, you know. So it is with wicked people. When you leave them around you, when you have them around you, you got what you had coming. Nobody told you to hang around them, you know. It says here, it says 14. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? So if it's almost like you know better. So when you go do the dirt with them, somebody come and talk about, hey man, listen, I got this. Listen, I'm gonna go rob this bank. All you gotta do is sit around the corner. You don't even gotta come in. I got this. You know what I'm saying? All you're gonna do is be the getaway driver. You know. Oh, not even that. they don't even tell you. You know this person is a sinner. They robbers and they do bank robberies and they ask you, hey, drive me over here. Or he asks you, drive me over here. You know, just wait for me right here. I'll be right back. He goes around the corner, but around the corner is the bank. He goes in there. He sticks the bank up. He never told you that he was going to do that. But next thing you know, he jumps in the car, got a mask on his face, and he's telling you, drive, drive, drive. You knew this person was prone to do things like this. Obviously, this person doesn't respect you because they did not have the decency to tell you this. But you hang around. I'm giving real hood scenarios. This stuff happens in the hood. I'm telling you, you think that this stuff, I've heard of all types of situations. I mean, I've seen it all. People doing time right now from not even knowing what a so-called friend was going to do. Hey, drive me over here. I got to go down over here. Just wait for me right here. And then next thing you know, you hear all types of shots and stuff going off. This guy's running back into the car and telling you, hey, go, drive. Now you accessory to a crime. This is how it happens. So it's telling you, separate yourself from these type of people because they will have you in all types of situations. We have to be able to use our understanding. We got to be able to use our wisdom. If we don't do that, we're going to find ourselves in a lot of sticky situations. Listen, I grew up in the hood, so I know what goes down in the hood. And to move through these streets, you got to know when to hold, when to fold. You got to know how to do certain things. But common sense is something that most of us are born with, but we reject it sometimes. You know, whatever your mind or your heart tells you initially, sometimes be the right thing. And that's the Most High talking to you. People be like, man, my heart told me not to do this. Usually it'd be the right thing, but we don't take heed to the signs, and we continue in the wrong. So those are things that we have to be really aware of. So I drive them to the police station, not me going to jail. Wow, somebody said happened to me, never again. You see? So I'm talking about real situation that now I don't even know this person. This Tamika Yevra, you know, and they saying happened to me, never again. They put you in situations and you be like, what? You know, this is ridiculous, but this happens in the hood all the time, you know, all the time. So you know I'm hitting true points and I'm hitting things. So you got to separate yourself from people like this. You know, you got to, next thing you know, you got a friend. You're supposed to be a friend. They got you out there in some get-rich scheme, and you don't even know that you're part of the get-rich scheme, but you all in it, you know. Those are things that we have to be aware of. It says here, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. That's the sinner. For a while he gonna act like, because if y'all in whatever y'all into, right? They act like they're there with you, and then you get yourselves into situation, and before you know it, they back out on you. They not there for you anymore. That's not a true friend. And these are the sinners. These are the people who do these type of things. He only abides with you enough to where you, as we said at the beginning, when you got money, when you prospering, but then he breaks away. Verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, But if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Man, he could put on an act. She could put on an act with the best of them. But when he find an opportunity, listen, I've seen it. I've seen it. I grew up in the hood. I've heard the stories of so-called my man, you know. That's my man. And next thing you know, man come up missing. Man is no longer around. Something, they find his body in some field somewhere, and the person who did it comes to their funeral, like, because nobody knows at that time that they did whatever they did. But you know, eventually the streets talk, and then next thing you know, you find out that this person did it. But man, but he was at his funeral crying, you know, crying, boo-hooing. Yeah, but he's the one who did it. That's sinners. That's what they do, because they're always imagining this. When I was going to high school, this story was written, is in fact, because a movie was made out of it. Paid in Full. That whole story, these young guys from Harlem, you know, they were hustling. They were supposed to be best of friends, and there was one guy that was just in the midst of them. They thought he was a friend, but at the end of it, he was just out for himself. You know, he killed who was supposed to be his man, one of his best friend, at a time where, you know, his friend was his younger brother had gotten kidnapped, and he was trying to do certain things, you know, illegal activities. But what I'm saying is, even in that world, you know, you see the conniving ways and thoughts, because a friend is a friend, no matter what it is. No amount of money is supposed to be able to separate friends from friends. But I'm using that as an example, like the movie. And then you see how people just, you know, they take people's lives, and you think that you have a true friend, but you really don't. So those are things that we have to be careful with. You have to test a friend to see whether or not they are a friend. A friend is not just something that you say, oh, this is a friend, this is my girl, this is my boy. And nah, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Right here it says, verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. So it's covering all angles. It say, even when adversity come, he said he will be there first, but not to help you, but to undermine you. That's deep. That's deep. I don't know if something like this has ever happened to anyone. Thank God that I kind of, you know, I shield myself from this type of stuff. But goodness gracious, even when you down, you think he coming to help you, but he coming to she's coming to undermine you. That's crazy. You got people out there like this. You got people out there that really live like this, and that are out here. They're out here, as they say, hard body, as we say here in New York, hard body. They're out here, you know. So we have to be careful. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Yeah, be there talking about you, shaking his head, doing all these things, and talking about you. So we have to be careful with the friends that we choose. Is only natural. So yes, brothers and sisters, you know, we have to be careful with who we do good to. I know sometimes we fall under the you know, we look at people and we admire people. And sometimes that's the mistake that we make. You know, you admire people and we put people on pedestals. but we have to understand who they really are, and what they're really about. So in order to take them off that pedestal, because sometimes when a person is on that pedestal, you can't see the wrong in them. It takes, sometimes your wife is telling you and you don't listen to her. You know, she's like, hey, you know, that guy is not really your friend, and you're saying to yourself, man, I known him from before I knew you. Me and him went to grade school together. We went to PS8, then we went to IS 210, then we went to Tilden High School. That's my road dog. Me and him been rolling together forever. And now your wife comes, you know, you mid-30s, late 30s, and she's like, I don't think that guy is your true friend. You know, she's just making a suggestion from observation and all the years that y'all been calling each other friends. And then you start thinking back about y'all's friendship, and that has been one-sided, but you blinded because maybe this guy is, you know, he may be a little bit tougher. You know, you don't know why you clung on to him. Maybe when you were younger, you know, he gave you a sense of protection because he was a little bit tough or whatever. But you grow out of that. You become adults. You become, you know, grown men, and then you begin to see like the person's character, but you ignore it. You ignore it for fear of losing this friendship that's really not a friendship. You know, because a friendship cannot be one-sided. A friendship is two ways. Or with this girl you grew up with, y'all grew up in the same neighborhood. But only time, you know, when you grow, you've been through grade school with her, you know, PS what 271 what's the PS 191 once again. You went to IS 390. I'm hitting all the Brooklyn schools. You went to IS 55 in Brownsville. Never ran, never will. You know what I mean? That's the model for Brownsville. And then you went to Boys and Girls High School, you know, in Bed-Stuy, do or die. And this is your girl. And your husband comes along and he's like, I don't think that woman is really. You say how long you knew her? Y'all known each other all your lives and y'all went to grade. Yeah, you notice she only calls you when she needs money. I'm just saying, it's an observation. I'm not trying to, you know, destroy your friendship, but it's an observation. She only calls you when she needs money, when she's down and out, when she needs something. I'm just saying, you know, but when she's up, she's never around. She don't holler at you. You see her on the gram, she flashing. Cash out Tuesdays. Cashing out is not right either. So I'm just saying. But just given the scenarios, you know, but we have to be willing to listen to people who tell us, hey, you know, this is what's going on. When you don't listen, then you learn. You know, it says a hard head makes a sore behind, right? So so you don't listen, you're gonna have to learn the hard way. And those are ways sometimes we don't want to learn. So yeah, brothers and sisters, we have to be careful as to whom we do good to. That's all. We have to be able to understand who we are gonna be able to help, and who we're gonna be able to assist. Yeah, addicted to the comrades. That's right. So when we give ourselves to a friend, right? Or when you said someone is your friend. Okay, no problem. I'll send out next week. I'll have all the days so that everybody, the days that we're observing it. Those are we have to be really careful as to who we call friends. I remember being younger and being told like everybody's not your friend. You got associates, but friends, you will know. As you get older, you will realize who your friends are. So sometimes the people that we think are friends, childhood people, they're not really friends. They just associates that you go through a real good period with them, but they don't really look at you as being friends. Sometimes you look at a person as being a friend and they not really looking at you as being a friend. And those are things we have to be able to to point out. Sometimes, like I said, friendships come from a necessity, or what you deem to be a friendship comes from a necessity. Maybe you wasn't, maybe you was timid when you was younger, and this person, wasn't scared and would fight and could fight, and that's where you base your friendship on. You know what I mean? You base the friendship on basically like protection. And that's what the friendship was based on. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you do get friends like that, and they become real friends. Like you're a person that been getting bullied, and somebody steps up for you and helps you out. And okay, I'll put up the calendar of the holy days so that everybody, the holy days that we are observing, so everybody will know. Next week I'll put them up and everybody will know. All right. So yeah, sometimes you forge relationships like that. I'm not saying that that's not possible. It has happened like that. Somebody come and sticks up for you, and they become a true friend through your whole life, and y'all become good friends. That happens. But you got to know what your friendships are being based on. And when you base your friendships on certain things, on those are not true friendships. Those are not true friendships. Sorry. So just know how build your friendships. Make sure you have true friends. Make sure you have true brothers and sisters. Make sure that the people that you're with are people that are going to be true to you as you are to them. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to be as true to you as you are to them. And that's a once you find that, then you good. And listen, right? You never have a friend like me. So listen, and when you right, um, when you put man, you got people that got friendships that are to the death. Like, all right, give me a second here. 3, 2. Let me put up the address information up here because the brother said that he need the address. Just give me 1 second here. I'm a slow typer, so give me 1 second here. Yeah, brothers and sisters. So we have to be careful as to what we who we give our friendship to. That's all. And realize it, sooner than later. Is sometimes it's tough, I understand. Sometimes you really like hanging out with a person, or you think a person is really there for you, but realize it, know it, understand it, like nah, this person is not really for me. I have to find real friends, and they're out there. Real friends are out there. You find them, you just all right. Sorry about this. 1, 2, 3, 1. All right. So this is for a brother up there that wanted the address. That's our address right there. Okay. So yeah, we have to be able to decipher that, and to look at that, and to be able to understand that. All right. We is only right. So those are the things that we just have to be careful with, brothers and sisters. Is it's too late in the game to be getting caught up with stuff. I put the address up there. Let me repost it for everybody out there that wants to send a donation. Let me repost it, copy and paste it. There you go. That's for everybody out there. So yes, that's basically it. I'm not going to stay on too long tonight, because y'all going to hear my big mouth tomorrow again. Supposed to substitute for my brother Chief Meku. Make it out to bait D.C.B. That's who you make it out to. All right. Thank you for all your support and for thinking about us. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I gotta get to get my notes for tomorrow. It's Black History Month. You know what? I just want to say this in closing. When I was younger, I was a little bit more radical, but the older that I get, and I'm not like old, but I'm, when I was younger in this way of life, there were certain things that were taught to us about the in specific, like Dr. Martin Luther King, about his movement, about what he should have not taken our people out there, our mothers out there, whatever. But everybody has their own method. Malcolm X had his method. The Panthers, everyone had their method. What we have to understand is that Medgar Evers, what we have to understand is when someone makes the ultimate sacrifice, which is give their lives for a movement, they automatically on a different level. You know what I'm saying? Because that is the ultimate sacrifice. No matter whether or not you agree with their philosophy, with their ideology, whatever it is, whatever it is, so whether you agree to disagree with the ideology or whatever, when somebody gives their lives, like Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and all the endless of people that gave their lives for the cause, to me, I can't, because the way we have to look at it is that they gave their lives for us to be here today. Whatever it is that we're doing, whether we agree with whatever is going on or whatever, in the country and whatnot, those men gave their lives. And whether, it's well documented that Malcolm didn't get along with Martin as far as his philosophy. But I think later in life, Malcolm X died in 65, I believe, April of 65. And Dr. Martin Luther King died in 68, if I'm not mistaken. But by the time by 68, Dr. King was a whole different person than the I Have a Dream speech that he gave in 1963. So I just, hope that the Most High God bless the memory of those men. They were pillar in the civil rights movement. They were champions for justice for our people. And I just feel like we have to be careful how we talk about them, even if we don't agree with their full movement. Even, it's a bunch of people that was out there for the struggle of our people. So, with that, I'll leave it with that, hoping and praying that you've gotten something out of the lesson. I hope that you take heed to my words, know who you do good to. If you're just joining us, go back and listen to the lesson. Understand who you're doing good to. Understand the people that you call friends. Don't uplift sinners, because sinners will drag you down. Shalom Aleichem. May the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom. Also, don't forget my brother Zion Lex. I just want to say this about my brother Zion Lex. He read me. He's writing, like, this guy he's on the road. He's like got another book in production. Next book is going to be about Isaiah 50. I'm letting y'all in on it because that's my brother. I talk to him almost every day. He read me a couple of chapters from that book, and oh my goodness, y'all really need to, when he drops that book, everybody needs to get it. You might not, sometimes with Zion, like when he's writing about the Egypt, some of that Egyptology stuff might go over your heads. That's for the people who know how to understand that type of stuff, right? And everybody is not into that. But the new book that he's writing, he read me the first 2 chapters. I guarantee you, brothers and sisters, he's going to put that whole Isaiah 53 thing to bed, about that being a prophecy about a Messiah, and we know when they say the Messiah, who they mean. So he told me early spring this book will be out. I believe it still has to be edited, but believe me, I mean, he has a few books. What, the matriarchs of the covenant, of the Sacred Covenant. He got the book on Kemet, the first book that he wrote. Then the Matriarchs of the Covenant. That's the book about all the sisters in the Tanakh. After that is, I don't want to get it wrong, I think it's The Sound of DNA. I think that's his third book. Then after that, I think he have another one that he dropped 2 this year. He wrote a book about the origin of the Mogen David, of the Mogen David, and this next one that's coming out. So that's my brother right there. And those 2 chapters he read me, powerful. Just 2 chapters, and he said is going to be about a 200 and some odd page book. So look out for that book. And he's doing a book on 1 chapter of the Tanakh. So I suggest that you all will look at that. And I thank the Most High God that he's on our team. Hallelujah. May the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Same channel. Shalom. Hallelujah.